Blimey, that's a lot of people. Andy would have been as overwhelmed as I am to see so many people here. And to feel the sense of, just the sense of feeling that he's brought with him tonight. For once, maybe even he would have been humbled. What a privilege to be asked to say something about the wimp. I'm immensely proud to count him amongst my very best friends. We met in our early 20s. In those formative years, he had an enormous and enduring influence on my life. Not necessarily always a good influence. But I've no doubt that in the same way he changed and inspired and influenced so many people who were lucky enough to cross his path. So as I sat down to think about things to say today, I just laughed and laughed again as so many memories came to mind. With Jackson, things happened. He made things happen. The stories Rob told, and countless others beside, millions of them. Many were related to tours, and those stories, I'm afraid, can't be shared. Yeah. What goes on tour stays on tour, right, Rob? And even if I tried to say them, they're all lost in an alcoholic haze. But he was a one-off, truly a one-off. He was a colossus in all ways, apart from his stature. So I think we can say he was a colossus of minute proportions. The last time I saw him was back in January. It was freezing cold. He was in hospital, the London clinic in Harley Street. He'd just had a back operation. I took a bird along with me, and she was called Sally, as luck would have it. I told Sally all about this legend, Jackson, that she was about to meet for the first time. I told her about his sporting prowess, which very irritatingly was pretty good in all sports. I told her about his unparalleled knowledge of the desert, of his charity work, the Arabian leopard, the Gulf for Good, all these good things he did, his business skills, his unique, very unique social skills, his spoofing skills, and generally I bigged him up, as you would. So we went into his room and he lay on his bed, but then he'd only had an operation a few hours before, and then he got up. And then I could see Sally's face. There was a bit of surprise at just how small he was. But Andy, he was always so perceptive, and he released the tension immediately by saying, "I was taller this morning till the doctor took out 6." So anyway, at that point, Andy decided it would be a good idea if we sneaked out for a pint. He'd been under general anaesthetic 8 hours before. But it was freezing outside, but the pub was only about 200 yards away. He could easily do it. He'd worked out how he could take the drip that it was connected to, he'd hide it up his sleeve, and he could cover his bare bum because he had one of those gowns on, and it would be all right. We'd get around. So off we went. We strolled past the nurses, smile in the evening, past the sister, past the matron, various orderlies looked at us, into the lift, down, and we were in the lobby. There we were, so close to getting outside. So the concierge said, "Where are you off to?" Just going for a pint. "You've had an operation on your back, sir, a few hours ago." "Yes." Anyway, that was the end of it. There was various mutterings of health and safety, and it's not worth it, my job's not worth it, and so on. But anyway, we got over that and went back to his room, where we sat chatting, and yes, he did go on with great pride about what had been going on in his life, and particularly in Ben's life, telling me all about what you've been up to, which is fantastic. So, there's a lot of pink here today, but I think that's what it happens to be. It could just so easily have been red and white for the wanderers, black and white for exiles. Do you remember those turquoise little outfits we had, Rob, with the tassels? We could have all been in turquoise tonight. Or in fact, any colour. He played for so many teams and societies around here. He's just been involved. His involvement in things was just so varied. So he was actually the ultimate chameleon, changing his colours to suit any occasion. He seemed to adapt seamlessly from being a complete rascal to being the ultimate diplomat, to be the joker, to the family man, to the adventurer, the achiever, the delegator, but always returning to be a menace. He treated everyone with that same impish cheek and humour. He respected everyone, from the sheikh to the houseboy, and he universally earned their respect in return. I know that we've all got unique experiences and memories of Andy. He touched each and every one of us in different ways, and I have no doubt the common thread to all of them was the fun and joie de vivre with which he went about things. A smile and a laugh was never far away. Who else could get away with the things he did? His cheek knew no bounds. I was lucky enough to be one of his mates. That's the only thing that entitled me to play for Barrow House. Who else could get me corporate sponsorship and a load of other reprobates to fly out each year and to be wined and dined and play for Barrow House? Jackson could. And then there is one story I'd like to share with you. After the Sevens one time, Jackson in his customary way took out a leading team, and he was hosting, I think, the Australian side. And in his jeep in the desert, he had a chap called Michael Liner. Now Michael Liner, I think he was the current captain of Australia, who's the highest points scorer ever, he's got the most caps, blah blah blah. And Jackson had him in the passenger seat of his jeep. So we're trundling through the desert, and Jackson had spotted down there somewhere a camel caravan. He didn't let Michael know. Instead he went down the other side of the dune to hide. Then he stopped and he wound down the window and he stuck his nose out and he sniffed. I think there's some Bedouin around here. Michael Liner got really excited. Drove on a little way, and then Jackson stopped the car, jumped out and studied the camel tracks on the sand. He said, yeah, they've been here within the last 20 minutes, they can't be far away. So back in the car, bounding away, he stopped and ordered Michael out. So Michael Liner, the god of rugby, got out, and Andy from his car said, yeah, down there, pick it up. So Michael, want this? Yeah, pick it up. Camel dung. So there was Michael Liner holding camel dung, looking at Andy, now what? And Andy said, break it up. So Michael Liner, and then Andy said, sniff it. Sniff it. And snap, Andy got his photograph of Michael Liner sniffing camel dung. Only Jackson. Who else would sneak out in the middle of the night to put some pig's trotters in the foundations of the minaret of the mosque they were building opposite his house? Only Jackson. When Andy was in his pomp, playing top-class rugby for Dubai, he was dropped, along with a few others, for disciplinary reasons. I don't know the detail, but drink was involved. Andy saw this as a great opportunity for mischief, and he embarked on a campaign. This involved, of course, printing Andy Jackson's Innocent t-shirts and singing Billy Joel's song, I'm an Innocent Man, very loudly and very out of tune and at every opportunity. He was reinstated with the first team after 2 weeks, but sadly he carried on singing that song. With so many memories, and I won't bore you with any more, but we're all blessed to have crossed paths with him. His life is truly worth celebrating. He packed more into his 52 years than anyone I've ever heard of, let alone known. And he led his life and ultimately lost his life in an unquenchable desire to explore and experience this wonderful world. And he grabbed every opportunity for adventure, competition, mischief and fun. His zest for life was infectious, his enthusiasm was unbounded, and I, for one, am very grateful to have shared time with him. I know he was an individual who left a unique impression on all those privileged to know him. I asked his old adversary, the scrum half from Muscat, who was a good mate of his, what he thought should be Jackson's epitaph. And he texted me this morning with this one. Jacksonus mihi sis crustum epicurium cum omnibus ineo. Jackson was a pizza with everything on it.